Hello, you people out there. This is Joe. I started doing a podcast, now video on YouTube about childhood trauma. That hasn't fared so well because I believe that I'm shadow banned because of my content. Even though my content is my truth, nevertheless, so what I've been doing since then, I've started to branch out and start to speak about spirituality, me being spiritual. I have also put out there that I would like to produce a podcast centered around energy. And what I mean by energy basically is that some people might consider energy as the soul or the spirit inside of the vessel. And I had to use that word vessel for a reason, because that brings me to the reason for this video, which I am going to call vessel. What is it? Some people would, well, this is actually very interesting. They would consider or call, the human body, if they are in touch with their higher self, they would call the human body a craft or a suit or a vessel, as I started to say moments ago. So this is what I'm going to do. This has everything to do with the subject, the topic of what I'm going to speak about here. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to get on my phone, pull up Google. Yeah, that's the dating app. You saw it. And I'm going to put in vessel and see the definition of vessel. For people to mention the human body as a vessel, if you can or cannot see it, please go and Google vessel. You'll see it'll pop up just like mine. A ship or a large boat. A hollow container, especially one used to hold, hold liquid such as a bowl, what did I say? Or a cask. Okay, so now I'm going to speak about that. When the term comes up, I know that I've used this, that the human body is a vessel. Vessels carry, as in a ship, carry things of importance and things not so important from one place to another. You have the idea of what a vessel is. So if I were to say that the human body is a vessel, then what is inside the vessel? Excuse me. What's inside the vessel, our human body, people would say, is the spirit, or as I would say, energy, our essence, but essentially our energy. Again, if I term the human body, as others have, as a vessel, that means something can go into the vessel. You read my thoughts, right? Something can go into the vessel and something can come out of the vessel. So what would go into a vessel and then come out of a vessel? Anything that you put in a vessel, anything that is in a vessel, can come out of a vessel. So let's go back. inside the human body, the vessel, is the spirit. If the spirit is in the body, the spirit can come out the body. If the soul is in the vessel, the soul can come out the vessel. If the energy, which I truly believe we all are, whether we acknowledge it or not, if the energy is in the body, the energy can come out the body. I know some of you are like, this man is crazy. That's the whole thing about it. Because the way that we've been brought up, the way that we've been raised, the way that we've been taught, the way that we even learn things, we're not taught specific things about the human body for a reason. I'm going to jump into this. I personally believe, and this belief I have has taken me half of my life to come to this conclusion. But I'm at about 95-98% certain of my belief in what I'm about to say. This going along with the coupling that I believe people are not viewing the body, the vessel, which has the soul inside of it, the vessel that has the energy inside of it, the vessel that has the spirit inside of it. People are not understanding that soul, that essence, that energy can be removed from the body. Thus they term it, what's the colorful term? Zombie. There is a method by which the soul can be taken out of the vessel. A method by which the spirit can be taken out of the vessel. A method by which the very energy can be taken out of the vessel. Who has access to the knowledge of how the soul, the spirit, or the energy, as I think, can be taken out of the vessel? Who has that knowledge? Let me give you a hint. That knowledge would be considered esoteric. ESOTERIC. That is a big hint. Who has the knowledge of how a soul, essence, spirit, energy can be taken out of a vessel? Anything dealing with esoteric knowledge, any organization that has esoteric knowledge knows how to do this. Now, what are the ramifications of having, I'm just going to state, I'm going to say from this point forward, instead of saying soul or spirit or essence, I'm just going to say energy, okay? The ramifications of being able to remove the energy from a vessel, the human body, and then putting in the human body, the vessel, a different energy. What are the ramifications? Please listen to me. Black on black crime. Why? Because people believe that two people, excuse me for that, African American, African descendants, committing violence against one another, when in actuality it is not two African or African American descendants committing violence against one another. One of them truly are more than likely, very, very, very highly likely, one of those individuals are African descent, are of African descent or African American. I'm here in America, so I'm gonna say African American. Black on black crime. Two black individuals. On the outside, they are, you know where I'm going with this. On the outside, they are both African American. But on the inside, one of them is through and through African American descendant. The other one, while African on the outside, the exterior, remember that vessel? Remember being able to take the energy out of the vessel because you have esoteric knowledge? You're part of a secret society that has esoteric knowledge. One is black through and through, African American through and through. The other one on the outside only. The energy inside that person is not of African descent. It's of any other ethnicity but African descent. There you have your black on black crime. On the surface, it looks like black on black crime. Underneath the surface, you have one African American who's through and through African American, and then the other person, interesting, that finger's up, the other one is just an energy that's been put in the vessel of an African to commit African American crime, to continue to perpetuate this cycle over and over, to have African Americans within America, obviously, to be viewed a certain way. Who does that? The people that do that are the ones with esoteric knowledge, those that know how to remove the energy from a vessel and put another energy into a vessel. Now I know what you guys are going to say. Now that's crazy. That's crazy. Let's back up, because I do know. I'm just at this very moment, I'm very hesitant to reveal as much as I truly know. Because one, people are going to think you're crazy. And that's essentially how anyone that has been brought up in this system, or this matrix as they call it, would believe. Because we've all been taught a certain thing, a certain way, for us not to believe outside outside the scope of what everyone, hive thinking. You teach the hive one thing and they only know that one thing, and they won't even accept the possibility of it being another way, because this is what they've learned from a young age. I do know how those with esoteric knowledge are able to remove the energy. I said I'm going to say energy versus soul, spirit, or essence. Remove the energy from the vessel, the human body. I do know how they're able to do that. I do know that. I'm going to say it again. I do know how you remove the energy, the essence, the spirit, the soul from a vessel, a human body. I do know that. What I'm not going to say at this very moment is how you do it. Because I guess if I haven't stated it in another video or a podcast I've spoken of, some things people are not told because they cannot grasp the concept of the fact that the human body is nothing more than a suit. The human body is nothing more than a vessel. Vessel being a ship carrying some type of cargo from one place to another. That's a vessel. The human body a vessel carrying cargo from one place to another. People with esoteric knowledge knows this. They are privy to certain information. Likewise to say, prior to someone gaining the knowledge that I'm speaking of right now, you would have to be accepted into their fold to have it validated what you might suspect this and that mean or what it's about. I myself, I stand outside of that. Having gone through a conglomerate of situations and peoples and organizations, even dealing with the government, and I still know these things, and I refuse to do what it is that they want me to do. Essentially, be subservient to an energy when I view myself as an energy. And in viewing myself as an energy, no other energy around me is God. You control the physical, the 3D, the resources, the availability of resources. You control that. But you don't control me as an energy. That's me and mine alone. You've gotten, or they've gotten, the masses to believe a certain thing a certain way and to submit themselves to other energies, not recognizing that they themselves are an energy too. I've also had to come to certain resolutions dealing with family members, whether true or not, but truly to come and recognize that family, y'all not gonna like how I'm gonna say this. Y'all really not. You ready? Y'all ready? You're not gonna like how I'm gonna say this. If certain things can happen as I'm speaking, that they do and they can and they have and they will continue, that an energy can be taken out of a vessel, a human body. Who really is your family? Who really is your family? We consider family, generally speaking, someone in a body, a vessel, that we look alike. We have characteristics that are similar. And we share a resemblance of our father or our mother. That's on the surface. Understand how we're looking at it. We're looking at the vessel. We're looking at the body, sharing characteristics with other bodies. What about inside? What about the energy, the essence, the spirit, the soul inside? Is that connected to those bodies that we have characteristics of or we look like? The body, the son or daughter can very much so look like the mother or father. That's the vessel. What about the energy inside? What about the energy inside? Is the energy inside that vessel family to the energy of the mother, father, brother, uncle? Do you know? Let me explain this. This is going against everything I have learned up to this particular stage in my life. I believe that we are energy. And I'm very cautious in how I'm saying this. Definitively, there are two types of energy that we can be, either positive or negative. Dare I say there is a third. That third energy, in in biology and in science would be considered a neutron. Interesting, in gang culture, someone that's not involved in gangs are called or denoted as being a neutron, neutral. Three energies: a positive energy, a negative energy, and a neutron. A neutron can either be positive or negative depending on which one of them get to that neutron and influence it to be whatever it is. A positive gets to that neutron becomes positive. A negative gets to that neutron can become negative. We are essentially, if we've not been touched or tampered with at the time of our birth, that vessel, energy goes into that vessel. If you're lucky, you're in that vessel, that newborn vessel, you're a neutron. Any luck, you're a neutron. If luck is not on your side, then the very energy that's in that vessel is an energy that has gone lifetime after lifetime. Energy never dies. Remember Einstein, not created nor destroyed, just changed from one form, moved from one vessel to another vessel. That's energy. If as a newborn vessel you are not a neutron, then you could either have the energy of someone that is positive, a positive energy, or a negative energy. I don't want to say this, but I'm going to say this. Please understand what I'm saying about family. Yes, physically, you may look like your brother, or your sister may look like you, or your cousins may. That's the surface. Similar to, watch this, watch why I say this. This is similar to a automobile maker assembly line. Okay? I'm just going to pick a type of vehicle, a car. Let me see. What's the new? Chevy Cruze. There you go. On an automobile assembly line, excuse me, on an automobile assembly line, a Chevy Cruze, it's constructed. Okay, it goes through just being the vessel. You heard what I was saying, right? Just being the outer shell, the vessel. Chevy Cruze on an automobile assembly line. The outer shell, the vessel, moves through and things are added to it until it gets to its final station where it drops down and it rolls off the line. It's driven off the line. But it's only driven off the line once that one final component goes into that shell. Several things we could say: that's the engine, we could say that's gasoline, we can say that's the battery. Since I'm thinking energy, I'm going to say it doesn't move until it gets that energy. It doesn't move until that battery goes into that shell, that vessel. That battery powers everything and it's able to drive off the line. Now, what's different from that Chevy Cruze that drove off the line? What's different from that one and the one coming behind it? Let me make this clear. The battery that was in the first one, it could work 100%. The battery coming behind it looks exactly the same. The vessel, the Chevy Cruze that's coming right behind it looks exactly the same. Has the exact same make, model of battery. But inside the battery, maybe this one isn't 100%. Maybe it's 99.4. The energy inside that second Chevy Cruze is different than the energy of the first one that rolled off the line. That is the difference. So while the vessel may or may not look the same, the energy is going to be different in each one of them. That is the vessel I call the human body. And pretty much interesting enough, to say the least, the way that a mechanic or automobile manufacturers can put a battery inside of a vessel, inside of a car, they can also take that battery out of the car. The same way you could have a energy inside of a body, that energy can come out of the body. And I will say this again, and I'm going to tie this off at 26 minutes. I do know how that it is. I do know how energy can be taken out of a vessel and placed into another vessel. I know. And the individuals that I've come in contact with that have put my entire life through this roller coaster ride, emotions, trying to figure out who I am, what this is about, I get it. But what I get is what you don't want me to share with the rest of the world, of what truly is going on. That's what you don't want. You want to keep the charade going. And the way that they have, speaking to you guys out there, the way that they have been able to keep the charade going is that they've always ran up or ran into energies that they could fulfill anything they wanted. You want a home, you want a car, you want a good woman, you want money. Why is it that those energies or those people can be bought so cheaply by fame, money, cars, house? Why is it? Who is in a position to just give someone whatever they want, but they need this from you? That which they get from you is way more important than what you're asking or accepting in exchange. But people are not supposed to know that. I know that. I know it. So 2756, I'm going to say it like this. I do know that I have spoken about how this can happen, meaning an energy in a vessel, in a human body, the personality, the very soul of that person can be taken or be removed. I know how that's done now. How do I know? Because I have come to a realization that that is something, a process that I went through myself. That I have come into knowing things that perhaps I should not even know, which further tells me that there's an energy that dwells within me that knows these things and is in communication with the energy in the universe, the cosmos, that's communicating. You know, there's reasons why people have epiphanies, flash moments. And someone mentioned to me, just because you have an epiphany does not mean it's real or true. I took that with a grain of salt, because I still look at the fact that an epiphany happens for a reason. An epiphany happens for two reasons: either to confirm that which you may be suspect about, or to throw you off track to what you're suspect about, leaving you to discern which of the two is actually valid. In this duality that we exist in, there's always choices. Likewise to say, as I just spoke, an epiphany, it's going to give you a choice. This is true how it's presented to you, or it's false and it's trying to mislead you. Energy yields energy. Energy itself is, in humans, we call it self-preservation. That's the human body. That's the vessel. What is that really like? That's like self-preservation. If you want to think about a ship, it can rock, it can roll. Self-preservation says it's going to balance itself and stay afloat. Short of you sticking some type of hole or whatever, self-preservation, that vessel is going to stay afloat. Energy is the same way. Energy, E-Y-E. Energy yields energy. What does that mean? Me as an energy, I am able to yield or have other energy yield to me once they identify that I am this energy and I identify that they are this energy. We yield. And then either we get together or we go our separate way. I hope I didn't confuse nobody with that. 31. Again, not a rant. This was actually something that I need to get off my chest. I just woke up, believe it or not. I do want to tell you guys, again, I still want to do the energy podcast. I do know how they're able to take the energy. Remember, I'm saying energy, soul, spirit, essence. I do know how they do that. And I am going to say this, and I'm going to leave it alone, okay? Whenever we think of a chair or a seat, someone says, go take a seat, like you're in a classroom. Go take a seat. We also take a seat when we what? When we get inside of a vehicle. We also take a seat when we get inside a vessel. Are y'all connecting the dot? How do they do it? How do they do it? When they get in the vessel, they get in the car, boat, ship, they take a seat. When they get in the vessel, they take a seat. Where do they sit? Where do they sit when they get into a vessel? The human body is a vessel. Where do they sit? They would sit where that energy, where that essence, where that spirit, they would sit where that soul would be in the vessel. And I'm not going to go further than that, because if you didn't catch that, maybe this ain't the type of video you need to be watching. I told you, I know.